Hello everyone, Bryan here with your Las Vegas market update video for November. Now, October was a relatively quiet month, so I'll try to make this a shorter video than normal. If you've been watching for a while now, you know that while the real estate industry and mainstream media was praising the home recovery and price gains, I've been warning you to sell, sell, sell before it was too late. Now, as many of you who are in the real estate industry have seen recently, our market has been vastly changing over the past few months. Well, finally in October, the mainstream media finally picked up on what I've been preaching about for 6 months now. But before I get into that, let's run down our normal metrics that we cover every month. First, I'll cover the inventory level increases. Next will be the notice of default numbers. For the first time, I'm going to start tracking the monthly median home price numbers since we're heading into a possible downward trend. Finally, I'll cover some recent news topics and wrap up what we've learned today. Okay, so first up are the current inventory levels. About 5 months ago, I predicted that we would double our inventory from 3,000 homes in April to 6,000 by Halloween. Well, we blew way past 6,000 in mid-September. You can see now that we ended October with 6,949 homes on the market. Over the past 29 weeks, there have only been 1 week that we didn't increase our inventory. Now, although we're still steadily increasing our inventory, the good news is that it seems to be slowing down finally. We were increasing at an alarming rate of 20% for a while. 2 months ago was 15%, and last month it dropped down to only 10%. So while I was afraid we would reach 10,000 homes by New Year's, I think that we'll realistically be a little over 8,000 heading into next year. Since we're slowing down, I should say. Okay, so next is the breakdown of this inventory. 14% of the market are short sales now. This is up from 13% last month. Foreclosures are now 7% of the market instead of 6%. This leaves 79% of the market as traditional sales. So simply put, we added about 150 short sales and 100 foreclosures to the market last month. Okay, next up is the NOD, or Notice of Defaults. This illustrates the amount of foreclosure activity coming down the pipeline. As you can see now on the screen, last month was absurdly huge with 3,688 filings. This was the largest amount in over 2 years. But October only had roughly 170 NODs. Now, why such a change? Well, last month, the Homeowner's Bill of Rights took effect. As a result, most properties now require a 30-day warning prior to their filing. We knew this was coming, so it wasn't much of a surprise, really. As I stated in last month's video, I didn't expect these numbers to go up much until next year. So definitely don't read too much into this right now. Last month, the Las Vegas Review-Journal reported that the median sales price in September dropped 1.1% for the first time in 19 months. Now, since many of you have asked what the median prices have looked like, I decided to do some research for you. On the screen right now, you can see the monthly increases in median home prices over this past year. As you can see, in January, our median home price was exactly $150,000. Starting in March, you see a consistent increase in monthly appreciation. Now, what was very surprising to me was that despite the median price falling 1.1% in September to $182,000 from $184,000 last month the median home price managed to creep back up to 1.6%. So the price was $185,000. I found this exceptionally strange since the general consensus is that the market is softening. But hey, numbers don't lie, right? Okay, on to some news topics. Well, the best news we got last month was regarding the conforming loan rate. Now, in last month's video, I warned everyone that scheduled for January 11th of next year, buyers' debt-to-income ratios for loans were dropping 11%. Currently, it's 54%, and it was going to be reduced to 43%. Well, to add insult to injury, it was widely known that the conforming loan rate, which is currently $417,000, would be lowered to possibly as low as $300,000. Now, this would mean that any buyer taking out a loan for more than $300,000 would now need to get a jumbo loan. Well, fortunately, housing industry lobbyists jumped all over this one, fearing this could destroy the housing market. As a result, FHFA announced last week that they would be seeking to lower the conforming loan amount, but they would give the public 6 months to prepare for it. Now, if they do make the change, it's expected to be in late spring of next year, which also means they would have to announce the potential change very soon. So, for the record, the debt-to-income ratio change is still being lowered on January 11th next year. Only the conforming loan rate change is still up in the air for now. Now, really quick, there was a fascinating article that illustrated how the major banks have been completely misleading the public and their investors. Not a real big surprise, right? Well, according to this article, the major banks are hiding $57 billion in FHA loans that they will have to take substantial losses on. See, when the banks foreclose on an FHA loan, they get reimbursed for their loss because the loans are insured. Now, if FHA discovers that the lender violated underwriting or servicing standards or simply engaged in misconduct, they can void the insurance policy. So the moral of the story is that many of these homes that should have been foreclosed on simply aren't. The reason the banks don't want to foreclose on these FHA loans is because if they do, they will take a substantial hit to their bottom line, since they aren't going to be reimbursed for all these losses. Lord knows they haven't budgeted these losses on their balance sheets. So this really explains why some FHA short sales are taking forever, and why many seriously delinquent FHA owners haven't even received a notice of default in over 3 years. Okay, so let's quickly wrap up what we learned today. The inventory is continuing to increase, although it's becoming more modest now. The notice of defaults plummeted because of legal changes. Surprisingly, the median sales price went up this month in spite of last month's decrease. And we were granted a 6-month heads up on the forthcoming conforming loan rate reduction. So what does all this really mean? Well, I maintain the same position I've had. If you still have a home on the market, stop playing around and get it under contract ASAP. The holidays are rarely kind to sellers, and despite the modest increase last month in home values, all indicators are pointing to a softer market next year. If you are looking to purchase a home, be very careful about the product you're buying. See, some neighborhoods will get crushed next year, while others will only see mild adjustments to value. Unless your debt-to-income ratios are exceptionally high, there's really no rush to buy right now besides the less competitive holiday season that we're entering. Time is just very much on your side from here on out if you're a buyer. Now, thank you again for watching. Please click here to subscribe and have yourselves a fantastic Thanksgiving.